How's it going, everyone? It is Tuesday. I wanted to give you an update on what happened Monday. So we went on every tour at Salt Lake City, Temple Square, and we had talked with a woman missionary who gave us our tour at the Bee House, and I really wanted to address some of the things we'd watched in the movie about Joseph Smith. But I wanted to do it in a tactful way, not just kind of come out and say, well, it didn't mention his wives. It didn't show him shoot and kill anybody. It didn't mention that he had a jail record, because it started out when he was real young. Now, just kind of a brief insert right here. These videos that I post on updates, because of some of the Mormon, or some of my friends on Facebook are Mormon and belong to the LDS Church. Most of them, in fact, all of them almost have, they're set up for a special group where my Mormon friends can't see. However, the next one that's coming will be addressing my Mormon friends, and so that will be coming shortly hereafter. But back to what I was saying. I wanted to do it in a tactful way with this missionary. And one of the things that it said in the movie was, also in the very beginning pages of the Book of Mormon, it says, in this book contains the fullness of the gospel. So when I asked the lady missionary last night, I said, well, what's the gospel? And she, said, believing in Christ, being baptized, and a lot of it was biblical. In fact, everything she said was very biblical in the sense that you could find it in the Bible. And so I said, okay, it sounds like you can find all that in Paul's writings and in the four Gospels. So what exactly does the Book of Mormon, what is it for? If what you said is the Gospel, all that's in the Bible, why then do we need the Book of Mormon? Because it says that in this book, is the fullness of the gospel, and there is no other book on earth that will bring man closer to God than this book. And so that was kind of what I was trying to get at with her. She responded, it was almost like, they're used to this. So she responded with, well, I don't want to, we're not here to debate and get in, and to get into, deep, or not deep. It was more like, not to get argumentative. And it was like, I'm just curious. I'm not trying to be argumentative. My wife had asked her, hey, so have you read any of the New Testament? She's like, yeah, I've read maybe half of it. I keep starting over. And then, we had addressed some other things. She's like, well, the Bible has many stories like this too. And my wife was like, well, how would you know? You just admitted earlier you haven't read the whole Bible. So how do you know that it says this kind of stuff? And she was like, well, from what I read. And my wife's like, well, if you just pick up verses here and there, you could definitely read them out of context. So, and she's like, yeah, I read the whole chapter, and, very, dodging, like, whoa, very dodgy. And, she, before we could really continue on, was like, well, I have to get going. We have another tour. So keep us in prayer. We do have a dinner tonight with a Mormon family that I've been talking to for the last 5 years. They want to invite us over. We've weighed we've weighed our options of going to the pageant at 5:30 or really going to this family's house and possibly having a deep conversation. So pray for that. Pray for God's wisdom, that we would just be wise, and that our speech would be seasoned as with salt, so that we would know how to respond to each individual. And and I'll give you an update on that later. My next update coming will be on the Christian grace versus the grace of Mormonism, and that is strictly to address some of my Mormon friends on Facebook. So God bless you guys. I love you, and keep us in prayer.